saw
Is
him
on.
caught that early. Hey guys, so my name is Sam Howard. I'm an internal wholesaler at National Life Group, and I'm the internal wholesaler for you guys. I work with Rush Wilbank, so you guys are going to hear a lot about. He may even pop into this PowerPoint or webinar and say hello to you guys. I also work with Mike Duncan, who is the RVP for us and the head contact owner for you guys. Um, I am an internal wholesaler, like I was saying for you guys. I'm a former insurance agent. I was an insurance agent for about 5, 6 years. I ran my own agency. Also, I was an agency manager, hired about 300 people in about a 2 month span. So I did a lot of these webinars. Um, but I'm here to help you guys. I know what it's like to be, a brand new agent, not know very much because you have so many different carriers, all the way to knowing quite a lot of bit about everything on the products, just from constantly being immersed in it. So I always want to offer myself being Sam Howard. It's my name again. I'm here to assist you guys. You guys will be able to get my email and my direct line number, and we're going to try and get as much, you know, much momentum we can go or get because next month we're all going to be meeting up, hopefully, at the convention in Texas. So hopefully you guys will be going out to that Experior one.
Yes,
Hopefully.
we will. Yes, we'll be there.
Good, because then we can all meet in person. I'll be out there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all three
Nice.
days.
Wonderful.
And then are we ready to start getting into it, or do you want to wait maybe another minute?
No, I think we are ready. You can go ahead.
Perfect. You guys can ask me questions during it and interrupt me, or you can write in the chat. I have it open on this other screen. That's why you see my eyes going like this. I have two screens. One will be where I'm showing you guys. This is you guys. So if you guys have questions, I'll see it in the chat. Or if you guys just want to ask them, I want to make sure you ask it when that question is hot, because if you're like me, you'll forget it in 2 seconds. So we're going to start here. I'm going to zoom in slightly so you guys can see a little bit better. First, I want to show you forms and materials. Before we go into illustrations, forms and materials, because I'm going to give you guys some homework. I want you guys to get into forms and materials. Of course, it always does this for me. Let me just go to a separate page here. I'm an employee, and I'm just going to sign through Miro. So over here, guys, do know you can order things and have them shipped to your house or your office, and it is free. Since it is free and it usually gets there by next day, we ask you do not order tons and tons of things. They come quick and they are free. If people are ordering crazy amounts of things, we are going to probably put a limit on that eventually. But you want to come in here and you can type in just Flex Life, the product's name, and then hit search on the far right. Do not hit search document contents. That'll bring up way too many things. Just hit search on the far right. And then you'll always see on this left side, you have brochures or flyers. Want to come in here and it's like this, LSW Flex Life Index Universal Life Consumer Buyer's Guide. When you see Consumer Buyer's Guide, that's got some really good information. So that I can click on preview. And this is your guys' homework. I want you guys to go through this when we're done talking. And I want you to come up with questions for me. But in this, it's a 20 page. There are a lot of nice little pictures and graphs. So believe me, 20 pages is not going to be the worst thing in the world. And it's going to take some time to load a little bit. But main reason I'm showing you this, guys, this is your homework is LSW Flex Life. You'll see the little girl kissing daddy on the forehead. Index Universal Life Consumer Buyer's Guide. I want you guys to review it and go through it. It's going to talk about the interest crediting strategies, different riders. It is going to go a little bit to protect what matters most. I know there it is. So different flexible coverage, flexible death benefits, helping meet lifetime needs. We have access to cash value, income for life. So we have a LIBOR, lifetime income benefit rider. We have our ABRs. Those are living benefits that we're going to go into. So all of the things that come with our Flex Life are going to be in here. Here's our different accelerated riders, terminal illness, chronic illness, critical injury, the Alzheimer's Lewy body. We're the only company with that. And then also going into a little bit about IULs, having the accumulate value, what a basic strategy is, the caps that go on the interest crediting, cash value, all of that stuff is going to be in here. That is what I want you guys to kind of review and look at it because I can guarantee 90% of the agents do not do that because I did not do that either as an agent at first. Different parameters. So that's where we're going to want you guys to go into. Please, please, please take a look at that. Let me know the questions you have. Also, one other thing I want to show you, because being a former agent, I know clients are always like, hey, how do I know this is a good company to even work with? If you type in business highlights, and let me zoom in a hair for you here. We do have different languages, by the way, guys. So if you speak a different language, just type it in there, Chinese, Spanish, Lao, Portuguese. It'll pull up all the languages for it, or all the brochures and flyers for that language. We'll go down here, 2024 business highlights, because it has to be last year. Preview this bad boy. This is what you want to show your clients. Let's zoom in. Company that's been around for 176 years. We started in 1848. You guys know the Titanic. We paid out death claims to the Titanic. That is how old we are. So people that had life insurance for us that passed away on the Titanic, we paid for that. This is a form you want to show your clients to let them know this is a company that's been around forever. Not only that, they've grown every year. Not only that, they've kept every promise ever, that they've made. And we did about 4 billion in promises last year. So this is a good form to have. This is a good form to have. Now let's go into the illustrations, the fun times. All right, so we'll always start a new illustration. We're going to go through Texas because I think most of you guys are in Texas. But I do want to say this. You're going to see Flex Life NL, Summit Life, Peak Life NL. When you see the NL, that is strictly for one state, New York. When I click on New York, it only gives me the NL products. Please don't write NL anywhere outside of New York. You will get paid less. They're probably going to kick the policy back at you and say, hey, you wrote the wrong one. So you write LSW, or if it says nothing on it, for every state except for New York, only New York NL. If you guys have any questions, like always, please just let me know. So Texas, we have 3 IULs, guys. We're going to focus mainly on the Flex Life today, but the Flex, just to give you a quick rundown, Flex Life, it is used for pretty much everyone. Our age limit goes down to 2 weeks. So a baby that is 2 weeks old, 14 days, you can write that application for. Just know if you don't have the Social Security card yet, because maybe it hasn't came in yet, our underwriter or our Enforce team knows they're not going to put it in force until they receive that Social Security from you guys. So you can put it in. Just know it won't go in force till we get that, so we can, verify them. But Flex Life, that goes as low as 50,000 and as high as possible. I've done a 30 million one on that one. So face amount starts at 50 grand. All of our permanent products go no less than 50,000. Our term will be 100,000. That is the minimum. Now for the Summit Life, which we will probably do in another webinar, this one is for $1 million and higher. Summit Life and Peak Life is the New York version. It does not go any less than $1 million. The reasons you want to use Flex Life is if they're doing over 5 million, or if they're doing over $1 million and they're overfunding it like crazy. And I'll show you what that means in the Flex Life. And then we have one more that you're probably going to use only 5% of the time. It is called Survivor Life. This is a second to die policy. 2 people get on it. One can be uninsurable. One can be insurable. They have to be like spouses, related, something like that. You would not put 2 healthy people on this policy because they do not get the living benefits. So the Survivor Life, it's if you have one uninsurable and one insurable, and they have a life expectancy longer than 2 years, we can get them on the Survivor Life. Again, if you have 2 healthy people, don't even think about it because you would be doing them a disservice with no living benefits on there. So we're going to go into Flex Life. Now, whenever doing an illustration for me personally, you guys are going to see on this left side how it says IGO EAP submission, and it is black and white. As soon as I put in my information, Sam Howard, I'll put in a fake date of birth. Let's do a juvenile first is what we'll start with. Actually, we'll do middle age. We'll do middle age first. We'll keep it simple and then we'll go crazy with it. So we'll just go, oops, I forgot a 1. All right, so they're acting like that's my actual date of birth because I didn't put today's date. So look at IGO EAP submission turns green like money. You want to do that first name, last name, date of birth. So that turns green. Finish your application or illustration and save it. Then you can go and push the iGo eApp submission button. It'll drag your illustration into the iGo eApp so you don't have to attach it. And then when you get the application signed, your illustration will be signed at the same time. That is a nice, clean process. So on this page, we have issue state, first name, last name, gender, date of birth. On this bottom half, rate class is the only thing that we're going to worry about. And always, so I told you guys to download that Flex Life brochure. Click underwriting guidelines. That is going to pull up our underwriting quotes. You guys should always have this save and use it for anything with National Life Group because it has emails that you can reach out to, all the different rules. It's 41 pages. You want to control F it and search and see, like if I wanted to see someone that had cancer, it's going to show me everything that pertains to cancer and I'll be able to wing out what I need. Always want to be in here. Height and weight. Clients have no medication issues, no issues at all. We have to go based off their height and weight. So we have a permanent product one. And then I can say, if you're 5'10 and you weigh 150, I'll be like, okay, you got the best rate class and you have no medications, no surgeries, no issues. We kind of have to go off height and weight. So typically you want to leave this rate class at standard non-tobacco. If you do have a healthier individual and they're saying, yeah, I have no issues, none at all, go ahead and look at the underwriting guideline or send me a message. We can put them at a better rate class because you know how clients are. They're going to want to see the numbers in here. And if we're just going off standard, they might not be happy with another company is showing them. So it doesn't hurt to ask them questions. Don't always want to go standard on tobacco, but if you don't know where to start there. Table rating, flat extra. Don't worry about that unless an underwriter tells you, hey, they're going to have that table rating on there. Or, hey, they have a dangerous job. Maybe they fly private planes, not commercial planes, but private planes are more dangerous. They're going to make them put a flat extra on there, which makes it more expensive. So don't worry about these until they tell you. And then so we'll go, and then pension underwriting. If you're ever working with cases like that, you'll let me know. It'll be a different type of case. It's not going to be a normal one. It'll be a pension underwriting or something like that. That's where you're going to want to bring me in anyways for those. And then let's go to death benefit funding. So this is how we change pages. We just went from the first page, client information, very simple. We'll go to death benefit funding. Do know everything has a hyperlink. If you're wondering what minimum DB, max cash value, balance DB, based on target premium, protection focus all mean, on this left side, face solve type, there's a hyperlink. And think of the words as they are. Minimum DB, max cash value, smallest death benefit, most money going towards cash value. And how it starts left to right, smallest death benefit. Let me just do an example here as I'm explaining this. We're just going to do monthly. And I want to specify my premium. So let's say a client wants to do $1,500 a month. We'll just keep it like that. If I do minimum DB, and let me go to this page to show you, it's going to start my face amount at 678. If I go to balance DB, think of it balancing out the death benefit and the cash value. So we were just at 678. Let's go to balance DB. And now we're looking at 820. So we went from under 700,000 to over 800,000 because it's more of a balance. So these are just parameters to always help you out kind of find out. And then based on target premium, it's going to be a little bit more also. This one actually went down a little bit because based on their target premium. So usually that one would be a little bit higher, but that's where you always just want to check these. So balance DB and then protection focus. I don't use protection focus because you guys are going to see this right here, additional protection benefit. That is non-commissionable money to you. It is not something you start with, but if your client was looking for, let's say, $1 million, and we use protection focus, and I go to none, it's now going to mix up $1 million in a 65-35 split. Non-commissionable face amount to you. And how you can see this is, watch, if I put a full $1 million in normal face amount, your target premium right here is 22,000. That's what you're getting paid based off of. If I were to split this up and let's say do 50-50, so 500,000, 500,000, we made it more affordable for your client because you're not getting paid on this half of the commission, which makes it more affordable for your client. And now we saw our commission just got dropped from 22,000 to 11,000. Do not start like this. I would start with, hey, you're looking for $1 million. It's a psychological thing. You want to start with the higher amount, $1 million. And we're trying to find if they can pay for this amount. So we go and look here. We see premium is about 13,000 a year. And they say, hey, I can't do that. That is way too much money, but I want this $1 million. You would ask, hey, what is your budget then? If they say, roughly around 12,000 a year, we go back here and we're going to mix them up. So we're going to ruin our commission a little bit, but we're going to go little by little. So if we go 750, okay, 250, still got my million. And then we can go and check. Premium is down to 12,638. So we know we just got to go a little bit lower for this client. So if we went 600,000, 400,000, client's still getting their million. You're getting a little bit less commission, but you would rather get the sell than no sell. We can get it right there down to that 12,000 that they're looking for a year. So I say, don't start with the additional protection benefit because being a former agent, I know clients, when they smell blood, they're going to be like, yeah, keep going lower. Keep going lower. Get that premium as low as possible. And you guys have a family that you need to feed too. Okay. You don't want clients taking advantage of you. We don't want agents taking advantage of them. It goes both ways. It is a partnership. So psychologically, guys, start on the higher end. And then if you have to, start sliding money over to make it fit their budget. Try to find out what their budget is so you can manipulate the system and not them, because the most we can do in additional is 3 times the amount. So if they wanted $1 million as affordable as possible, okay, just take out a zero. We would have to do it like this. 250,000 and then 3 times that amount is 750. The way you can always find out is you take that number that they're looking for. If they want a max, you divide it by 4. That'll get you this amount, and then you put the rest in there. That is the most that we can do on a more affordable basis. And look how low we can get it. It would be down to 10,894 a year. So these are just systems we're giving you guys to make sure that you can, finish the deal, get it done. Sometimes you're going to have family members and you're going to want to obviously do the best thing possible for them, which is using that additional protection benefit. Any questions on that? Perfect. All right. So yes. Question, Michael?
Hey Sam, yeah, this is Michael here. This is completely a different screen and a different website. It totally different with F&G. So going back to the NG that you said it only apply for New York.
Correct.
Does it apply to any other state beside New York?
No, sir. NL goes for NY. Just that one.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Just those NLs. And then even the annuities, they're all called the Green Mountain Freedom. And they'll have different names like 5 for the 5-year MIGA, Flex for the flexible one. And they're all still called Green Mountain Freedom 5, Green Mountain Freedom Flex, Green Mountain Freedom. And then that'll be the SPDA one. So that'll be their annuities. And then, yes, all NL, strictly just New York.
Okay. Clear. Sound good. Thank you.
Perfect. No, I'm glad you asked. All right, so let's look at the different solve types. So I just showed you guys the different solve types. Now I'm going to show you this. So we're going to go down into the death benefit option. So just remember, minimum DB, lowest. Balance, it's going to find a little bit higher based on target premium. Usually it'll be a higher one. They're just parameters. If you see minimum DB is 100,000 and you see balance DB is 300,000, you can absolutely push none and then type in 200,000 because you're like, I see the lowest end is 100 grand. I see a balance one is more 300 grand. this client's looking for even a little bit more on the cash value side, you can use your brain and be like, let's do 200,000. That's right in the middle of those two. And then always you can look at the cash value and stuff and see how it goes. This one's going to look bad because we're using the lowest premium, which I'm about to explain to you. So right here, death benefit option. So let's say this client is doing, specify amount we'll start with. We'll just say 500 a month. Now, A level is exactly how it sounds. That means your policy is going to be level until cash value catches up to it. So we're on level. Look at that, 200,000 is level every year until cash value catches up to it. Your cash value can never surpass your face amount. There is a word called Concor, and it will always bump up that death benefit naturally, so it does not surpass it. And for level, if you die, you get the net death benefit. If you die at this time, you get 211,396. You do not get both of them. If we did increasing, it is how it sounds. Face amount starts at 200 grand still, but every year it is increasing. And there is an equation to it because everyone thinks, and I thought this too when I first was an agent working with IULs, they think, let's say he dies at 70, they think you get 373,000 plus 173,000. That is not what it is. It is an equation of A, so the initial face amount A, 200,000, plus B, so let's say in 15 years is this, equals that. You see that? 200,000, the initial face amount is A plus B, which is whatever that cash value is at that time, equals C. So if they die using increasing or level, regardless, they are still getting net death benefit. The illustration will already be doing the math for it. Does that make sense? Because I know that's a very common issue that I've ran into myself.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely. Now, also using increasing, that can shrink the face amount if you use it plus one of these solve types. So right now we have 200,000 increasing. If I use, and let's just start with level first so you guys can see. If I do minimum DB on level, the face amount is starting out at 222,000. So minimum DB plus level, it is starting at 222,000. If your client wanted better cash value, you do minimum DB, max cash value plus increasing. Those two together, look at this. It just shrunk that face amount from 222,000 to 86,000. That is allowing much more money going towards cash value versus the face amount. And to carry off on that, if I were to show you a juvenile, let's make them 1 year old. Let's make them a female because boys, we just get horrible rates because we're crazy and silly. This is a nice way of saying dummies. Now look at this for a juvenile. This is a 1 year old. We're going to say they're doing 500 a month. If I first start this at level and I do minimum DB still, so minimum DB, we got level, monthly 500 a month. On quick view, you're going to see it wants us to have a $1.2 million face amount. That is very high for a 1 year old. I always like to say, let's do a little magic trick. So we just went from 1.2 million. If we do increasing, this goes to ... 412,000. We just shrunk it from 1.2 million to 412,000 with 500 a month. And if I scroll into the future at 65 years old, retirement age, on a conservative side, we're looking at 5,577,000. Conservative side because we illustrate lower than anyone because we believe in being conservative. We like to underpromise, overdeliver. And I see there's a question, are there term riders on NLG IULs? Billy, great question. So we'll segment into that one really quick. If I go to riders, the next one down, to Billy's question here, right in the middle, guys. It's very easy to miss almost for me sometimes, but the other insured rider, that is our term rider on here. So if I do add insured, I can do based on the insured. So this is a client themselves. They wanted to get a term policy added on to their IUL. They can do based insured. They can do a business partner, or they can do a spouse or child. Very important thing to know about our underinsured riders. If, let's say we're getting a spouse on there together, husband and wife. If husband does not qualify for one of the ABRs, wife automatically doesn't qualify for one of the ABRs. And the other way around. If wife being on the underinsured rider does not qualify for an ABR, the husband doesn't qualify for an ABR. Chronic illness, terminal illness. So my advice to you is if you're ever going to be doing an other insured rider, do a pre-exam right here on underwriting quotes. You can send in a underwriting quote essentially to our underwriters. They will review it. It does not go on the client's record and it does not go on your record. It is absolutely, I really, really invite you guys to do that because if one person doesn't get the ABR and the other obviously doesn't have to get it, they are a married couple. They are sharing the same bills. We are super hurting them on that point. So it's always going to be proactive. Say any health issues whatsoever that you know of, anything that comes up with them that's like, I take some type of medications, do an x-ray. Find out what those medications are for that reason, the dates, send into x-ray, which is the underwriting quotes right here. And then we'll figure out if they're going to be missing any ABRs. You'll look like a hero. Yes, Monique.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question about the pre-exam. Do we
Mhm.
actually need a consent from the client to do that? We can
Oh yeah,
just go and do it.
I would, unless you have all the information,
Yeah.
because this, when you go in here and you're going to start a new case, it's going to ask, height, weight, medications, family history. Because with insurance, you want to make sure family history is a big thing. Genetics they are of a hell of a thing. They're very strong. So when you go in here, and I'll just use an example, Mr. Harry Potter, you'll be able to choose the products. This stuff you could do on your own, $1 million, state. And then when you go to next section, I'm going to show you this just because it'll open up all the questionnaires.
Yeah, I'm asking this because let's say you have a client who didn't qualify for one company. Okay, let's say he didn't qualify for FNG policy, and you want to try to see if he will qualify for nationwide policy.
Mhm.
So you have already the information, but you just want to see which one will be suited best for your client. So can you go and do yourself, or do you
Yeah.
need kind of like a IPA consent from the client?
No, you can do it yourself because technically you don't even have to put the client's actual name because at the end they're going to ask for consent. But if you're not putting the client's actual name, you're okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And then make sure, guys, most important when you do this, messaging at the very end is how you actually send it. By just doing it means nothing. You need to actually hit messaging at the end, send to carrier, and then there'll be a little box up here. It's not going to show it for me because I haven't put any information in, but the little box right here will say quick quote. Hit that box and then send email off to our underwriters. Make sure you do that. So many people don't do that, and I don't think we say it very, upfront of how to do it. So messaging, send to carrier, quick quote, send the email off. And then the rule of thumb is 24 to 48 hours, the underwriters will get back to you. And also, guys, with the other insured rider, if we're doing spouse, child, based on insured, whoever it is, do know it is annual renewable term. So it's going to start very low and inexpensive. Of course, it'll keep going. ART, annual renewable term. As you get older, it's going to get more expensive. And they also cannot, the face amount for the term cannot be higher than what we have on the base. So like if the client was doing 100,000, we have to do 100,000. We cannot go less than that or higher than that. And they can cancel it whenever. So if I did 30 years, and or they want to convert it, you can do a term conversion into their own product too. Okay, so for riders, term riders, you can convert that into your own product. So great question. Back over here. So we're working with this female age 1. Big thing on the top, guys, always use guideline premium tests. The only time you'll use cash value accumulation tests, I know it sounds like it'll get better cash value. Only use it if they're trying to do a 7-pay and max it out. Just 7 years and no more premiums ever. We can get more money in there. Or if they're okay with creating a MEC, which stands for Modified Endowment Contract, which is a taxable event. That means you're putting too much money in for the face amount you have. And the IRS is like, I want to get my taxes. So they are going to start taxing you on that. If you do this and they're okay with creating a MEC because maybe they're rich people and they're going to transfer the death benefit tax-free away. Because if you do a MEC, death benefit is still tax-free. Cash value is where you're going to get tax all the way back to your basis. So all that interest you will get taxed on. If they want to create a MEC, which is very rare, they would want to use this cash value accumulation test. So if they want to use a 7-pay, or if they're okay with creating a MEC, cash value accumulation test, that is pretty much going to be less than 5% of the clients that you work with. So try to always use guideline premium tests on the top here and leave MEC avoidance at none. You guys are the professionals. You want to see on this left side, MEC year, lapse year right here. You want to see how it says NA. If it says 1, you know what you just did that created that 1. If you have MEC avoidance on, it's just going to be dancing around and avoiding things. You don't necessarily want that. You guys are the professionals. You want to educate your client. So these two, I keep like this for pretty much 95% of the time. And then we went over these two. For change year increasing, always do it after they're done paying. So like for this 1-year-old, we want the smallest death benefit. So we're combining those two because we brought it down from 1.2 million to I think about 400,000 something monthly. These are now, we're going to look at our solve types. So let me switch this to an actual face amount. And we're going to play with the premiums. So if we had a client that is looking for, let's say 412,000 exactly, and they want the lowest, the absolute lowest premium possible that will not illustrate a lapse, it is protection focus right here. So base amount is in there. Protection focus is the lowest premium that will not illustrate a lapse. So it'll tell us that $75.70 is the lowest we're going to be taking. But what it's also saying is you're sacrificing cash value for a death benefit. Some clients are completely okay with that. The amount of calls I get from people and they're like, don't care about the cash value, bro. Just give me a nice strong death benefit and a low premium and we're good to go. I'm like, to each its own, to each its own. So you'll see first 5 years are going to be zeros now because they're underfunding it, but not completely underfunding it. So they're still, look at, still going to go all the way down to eventually 120. I just have my screen zoomed in so you can't see it. Protection focus will solve for the lowest premium possible. Does not mean it guarantees no lapse. With IULs of any kind in any company, you cannot be saying guarantees. Even if it's you're saying, hey, you're going to have, 50,000 in the first 5 years and they end up getting 100,000, they're still going to be upset at you because you guaranteedly said that. People are weird. So make sure you do not say guarantees because it could be better, could be worse. We always assume better because we illustrate conservatively. But that is what protection focus is. And by the way, that premium was 75.70 cents. Now, that is the lowest. If we were more so looking at target premium, that is more of a middle ground solve type, not always, but it is sometimes or most likely going to be there. You can see it barely bumped it up to $88. This is where you got to look at numbers and use your brain and be like, okay, it's telling me $88. That looks pretty darn underfunded. I don't like that. So if I go back here, I can change target premium to specify amount. And if I go to specify amount, I'm now in control. So I know $88 wasn't enough. I can now type in 100. When you're using solve types, they are just, what I like to use them for is parameters. I now know the lowest premium. I want to start ticking it up and looking at how it's illustrating. That's still not the happiest little illustration right there for juveniles because juveniles, they're looking for cash value, not death benefit. Well, that's how parents should be looking. And then so we can go, okay, let's bump this up a little bit more. I can do 150 a month. All I'm showing you guys is just you want to tinker with it. You don't need to use a solve type and stay there. You can use a solve type and then be creative with it. And so we just see that we're kind of closing out those zeros a little bit. You always want to ask your clients, what are your goals with this policy? Is it cash value driven? Is it a balanced cash value and death benefit? Or are we looking heavy on that death benefit side to where they want to do the most amount they can get while it's not illustrating a lapse, while using a lower premium? Those are the three different ways that we can kind of go around it with people. They're going to let you know that. Now, let me tell you guys the different solve types. Specify amount is how it sounds. You are specifying what you are putting in there. Minimum premium. The minimum premium, which is right here for this face amount and this client, that is the lowest they can pay to make sure that their policy still stays active. They cannot pay that every year because we'll see that if they pay that every single year, even though it's not illustrating a lapse, it's going to lapse. They are underfunding it to $44. Look at that. It's going to lapse. So what the minimum premium over here on this left side is designed to do is you could take that amount of money, divide it by 12, because the client's paying on a monthly basis. If they get in, let's say, a car crash and they're in the hospital, or that they lose their job, things where the budget gets really tight, you tell them you can pay the minimum premium till you get back on your feet, but you do not want to stay there because you are underfunding your policy. But it is our way of wanting to make sure, when hard times come, you don't have to close your policy for all the stuff that you're trying to do with it. And then, so don't encourage them that. We have death benefit protection premiums, the next one you're going to see. And let me actually put a premium in here. Let's do, target premium. And then if you look on the left side here, let me see, I think I got to fund this a little bit higher. Let's go to specify amount. Oh, you know what happened? We got to go to riders and turn it back on because I went underneath it. So let me go back here. All right, so we have a specify amount of way too much money. Let's do 250. All right, so you'll see right here, minimum premium, lowest they can pay, policy doesn't close. Death benefit protection, that is the lowest they can pay without it closing. It's a little bit higher than this because it's a free rider that comes with the policy. Anytime you see yeses and you didn't click anything, obviously I had to turn that one back on, but usually this is an automatic yes. It has the ages. So if you have a juvenile 0 to 29, if they just pay this amount, 908 a year, divided by 12 for a monthly basis, they have 30 years. We guarantee them no lapse. Guarantee them no lapse. However, if they pay this minimum premium once, it automatically knocks this off. It's a free rider. You encourage your clients to pay this. If they can't afford that in their hard times, then of course you tell them to pay the premium one. Target premium, that is your guys' commission. It is based off the client's age, gender, rate class, and death benefit. Those 4 things create a target premium, and that's for all companies. Guideline level, right here, the next one down, that's the most you could put in every single year for this face amount and this client. So if I went here and I choose that next one, guideline level, it is now going to overfund it to the max for this age every single year. Obviously, we have a high face amount for this 1-year-old, but that's what it's doing. It's overfunding. See that amount? It is letting you know that is the most you could put in every single year. And then the next one, guideline single, I completely ignore that. That is the most that you could put in for 1 year, but it's going to cause a MEC. If people are okay with doing a MEC, then we would have them do cash value accumulation tests. Don't do a guideline single. That's the most you could put in for 1 year, but it will cause a taxable event. The one they want to do is this max non-MEC premium, that 10,040. That's the most you could put in for 1 year, and it won't cause a MEC. Great thing about NLG is if you guys send, or if your client sends in a check that's going to cause a MEC, we will absolutely decline it, send it back to them, and tell them, hey, the money that you're sending in is going to cause a MEC. Are you okay with proceeding with that? And then we're going to explain what a MEC is to them. Because a lot of times agents send too much money in, they don't know what their MEC guidelines are. So that's our safe way of letting them know, hey, no. We need you to actually confirm that you're okay with creating a MEC, and this is what a MEC is. So that is a very safe thing that we will always do for our clients. We are a mutual company, by the way, guys. So policyholders, they own us. You own a policy with NLG, you got a stake in here. And then So let's turn on distributions. Let's make this look really cool. Let's go minimum DB, max cash value. Let's do specify amount. We're going to do 500 monthly. The 1 through M stands for first year through maturity, meaning they're going to pay all the way till they pass away, or if they're a vampire and live to 120. So we're going to do 1 through, A stands for age, 65. If I do 1 through A65, that means first year through age 65. If I have just 1 through 65, that means for 65 years. Of course, for a 1-year-old, it's the same, but for other ages, just so you know. And then how this face amount with level, remember, it was 1.2 million. We go to increasing. You always want to shut increasing off the year after they're done paying. They pay till age 65, turn it off at age 66, always the year after. Now look at this. We're going to go turn on some distributions. I like to keep it at annual. And let's turn on, so we have different types of distributions we could do. Specify amount, you think about someone trying to take money out for college. They're going to specify that they want to take 10 grand out for this year. Solve for income, that is going to be, you know, if you put client age 65 through age 100, it's going to solve the most amount of income for them. But this one, the lifetime income benefit rider, that is a guarantee amount, guarantee for life. So let's say we put that on. We go to quick view. Now we know all of this is not guaranteed, all this cash value. So what we got to say is once we get to that age 66 that they're turning on their income, if this is how things look, this is a guarantee amount. I don't care if the world is ending in 5 years later, this guarantee amount. We do not go less than that. And what we will do to help the client out too, though, just in case better interest strategies happen along, we will recalculate this cash value every 5 years to try and get them more money, but never less. If it recalculates and it's coming up to like 350,000 a year, we don't use it. If it recalculates and it's coming up to now 400,000 a year, we're going to now give the client 400,000 a year, guarantee. This is called LIBOR, Lifetime Income Benefit Rider. Guarantee for life. Now let me explain some other things we got going on here. Any questions, by the way, guys?
It just a request. Maybe you can just go slow with your mouse. It seemed like it faster and
Yeah, absolutely. I apologize about that, Michael. Of course.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. My brain moves fast sometimes.
I know.
So let me explain what we got going on here. We're in the quick view. We have initial face amount. This is where the face amount is starting day one. When you're doing the application, that's what you put in there, not the end of the first year, beginning of first year. There are no laps, no MEC, so we're good. In case you guys don't know what a lapse is, that means we are underfunding it for the face amount we have, and eventually it's going to eat itself because we're not putting enough premiums. And then on the opposite side of that MEC, as I said earlier, taxable event, we are putting way too much money in for the face amount we have. IRS is going to say, you guys cannot use this as an investment only. We're going to tax you. Modal premium, that is just showing us we're doing 500 a month. There's that monthly. Minimum premium, as we were talking about earlier, lowest they can pay. And in a month, you just take that number and divide it by 12. Same thing with the death benefit protection. That is that rider that guarantees, depending on their age, certain amount of years that if they're just paying that, we guarantee no lapse. Target premium, based off the client's age, gender, rate class, and face amount, those 4 things is what's going to create your target premium. And then the max non-MEC premium, most you can put in for 1 year, 10,040. And then that's the most you could put in every single year, which is what we're doing, the guideline level. It's the most you could put in every single year. And then guideline single, like I say, I ignore that because that is the most you could put in for 1 year. It will cause a MEC. And then we'll go through this slow. You'll have your policy year first, age second. Obviously, this client just happens to make it the same. Plan premium, always be annualized. When we're taking loans, which I'm going to show you down there, you're going to see that. You're going to see the interest accrue on there. And then annual income will be the money coming in towards us. Accumulated value, that is what is growing your money. Surrender value is what you have access to. I always say accumulated value is like the farm. If you want to go shopping for some, let's say steak, you cannot go to the farm and order a steak. That is inappropriate. We would have to go to the grocery store, which is the surrender value, because we have access to this money. And this money lines up on the 11th year because we have surrender charges in those first 10 years, meaning we don't want them to have all the access to their money. Every company has their surrender charges. Every IUL will have surrender charges. It costs money to put this in play. We don't want people just canceling it. And also to keep people from going from company to company, they're going to have surrender charge in those first few years. So that is why the money does not line up till the 11th year. And there are ways that we can take that off too. But we're going to keep scrolling down here. We got our net death benefit. It is growing. So just remember these columns. Accumulated value, growing the money. Surrender value is what you have access to. That's your cash value. Death benefit, because we're going to keep going down into the future. So now we're at the 18 years old for this little female. She's about to go into college. Her parents have access to, on a projection, 177,000 basically. They elect that they don't need to take that money. We're just going to keep letting it grow. Let's say we get to 30 years old. She's at $500,000. Let's go another 10 years into the future. They got that million. And let's scroll down to age 65. So you guys will see we have policy year 66, age 66. Client is now retired. This is her loan that she is taking out and her interest that is accruing through it. That is why it is jumping up, not by, the amount that she's pulling out, but by the interest, the 30,000. She does not have to pay that back, by the way. You'll see the death benefit at the same time. It's going down because when we do this illustration, it's assuming that they are not paying back this loan and that it is going to be subtracted from the death benefit, which is quite all right with me because she has got a massive death benefit and she is now taking loans from it. So we see the 390. That is her loan every year coming in, every single year. And that is the interest accruing. It's not adding every year, it is compounding. So they're just getting a little bit bigger every single time. Cash value is dwindling because it is paying out the LIBOR. And that's going to come, look at even age 100. Still accruing. Cash value is going down. Also, cost of insurance does not exist anymore once we hit age 95. So that's why you'll see this death benefit right here start going up again at age 96. We don't have a cost of insurance for age 95 for death benefits, which is crazy. I love it. So you'll see that death benefit. If they have good longevity, this is a great thing to do. Great longevity means you are living for a long time. You want to be receiving this guaranteed income. On the other end, though, if you had a client that had horrible longevity, like my grandparents both died at 70 years old. Not good longevity there. What you'd want to do then is instead of going for life, we can do solve for income, and I can shorten the amount of money. So instead of going till maturity, what if I do A85? Because this client's like, no way in shot that I live past 80. So we'll be conservative and we'll go 5 more years. Oops, let me switch this loan to. Down here on the distribution, the loan, participating declared loan gets you the most amount of income because participating is the key word. You're pulling out that money's still participating to grow. Standard loan is the automatic one we have to use when we do the lifetime income benefit rider. So lifetime income benefit rider, standard loan. When we do solve for income and we're looking for that most amount of money, participating declared loan. I go to quick view and we're going to see that money. There it goes. Now it's at $500,000. Obviously, it's a lot more money. It's not guaranteed, but if a client doesn't have a long longevity, doing the lifetime income benefit rider doesn't make a lot of sense because he's not going to live very much longer. So he wants to max out the amount of money he can get. This is a good way to do it. We just took that money and almost added 200 grand to it. that would make people happy. And then what I want to show you guys really quick here, run reports. Oh, let me show you guys what I did first. On this top banner right here, we have run reports. So before you ever do that, you want to hit, oh, does someone have a question?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
I keep you on the camera because I'm driving. But question, you said that you can add that 200 grand on that payment. Can you design that policy from the beginning, or you can change it in the middle? Like this
Oh,
is
like this, the distributions, correct?
yes.
Yes, that one. So it does not matter what we do in the beginning for the distributions. It only matters at the end. So this is great question. This is just the concept of us showing them kind of how it's going to play out in the future. Distributions, when you do the iGo app, you don't put that in there because it's not until they're actually going to start taking distributions that they're going to choose which one that they want, whether it's lifetime income benefit rider, solve for income, or any of those. And also know, because of, I don't know everyone's ages here, but for me, I'm in my 30s, if I wrote a policy on a 1-year-old, 65 years from now, I'm not going to be doing life insurance and I probably won't be around.
Exactly. That's what that
How,
question I was gonna ask. Is it
how,
you gonna remind them that?
our customer service, you let them know, like, hey, I tell them exactly that, like, hey, I'm probably not going to be around in 65 years when you're looking to turn this into a distribution. Just know when you call National Life Group customer service, they are very well equipped for that. They will train them on the different loan types, solve types, and they're going to be like agents. They're going to be asking, okay, what are you trying to use this for? What are your goals? Like, they're going to help them out. So do not worry about that one. Our customer service will be able to help you if you're not going to be available or around or doing this anymore. Customer service got their back 100%.
Okay, one more question. Since I have you, can you run that money distribution with like an adult, not a child? Just
Mhm.
wanna see how it look like because maybe when is it kid, they look different. Like maybe
Do you,
30,
I was about to
40,
say, do you have an age? 30 or 40?
yeah, 30, 40, 35, 37, or 40. I don't care.
I'm doing 38 then, right in the middle. All right, so if we do a 38-year-old, we do know that,
Somebody would say I'm just interested in money making.
perfect. So they're not really interested in the death benefit. They just want to make as much cash value as possible. Correct?
Correct.
Perfect. Do you have a premium you want to throw in or just do the same exact example?
You can do the same.
Perfect. So number one component with IULs is always time. Time will outbeat anything. The more time you have, the better. The less time you have, the more money you need. So with this client, everything the same, minimum DB increasing, so we get the lowest face amount. Keep this all the same. We'll keep the solve for income going the same. And let's go to quick view. So now we see that face amount has shrunk 300,000. It's going down to 148. And then let's keep working our way down here to the retirement age. We're projecting on the low end about 38,000 a year. That time factor is huge. They're barely going to get, 27 years to do this, which is a good amount of time. But when you're starting at an older age, you got to think about the cost of insurance is going to be higher. Where children, it's very low. So it's good to start low and build up that cash value while cost of insurance is very low. But no, this is what it would look like though for an older person, about 38.
Thanks, I see it.
Perfect. And then hold on, Monique. I see Billy had asked a question actually a little bit ago. How is the interest credited monthly or annually? Any uncapped option? Oops, our lights just flickered. Any uncapped options available? Are there any multipliers? Okay, so first off, how is the interest credited? It is on a, depending on what they do, but it is on a monthly basis. If a client is doing annual or lump sums, you want to click this one, illustrate systematic allocations. What that does is it will spread your interest into 12 buckets instead of one, because you're doing a lump sum or annual amount. So that is on a one, where we can spread it out and do this. So if you're doing monthly, you don't do that. because that will be double spreading it and that's going too thin. And then the interest credited on the loan coming out, if you're asking on that one, Billy, that one is daily. It is a very small amount. Daily is just kind of going. That is how the loan interest accrues. And then the next question, any uncapped options? So when you come to interest rates and you click on view interest rates and then find your product. So if I go to Flex Life, that's the product we're in right now. Paysetter is what we're illustrating it on. That has a no cap. So if your client got let's say a 4.5% on the Paysetter, what you do is grab out your calculator. You do 4.5% times 245%, which would equal 11%. So if your client's just got 4.5% in this Paysetter and you times it by that 245, they're actually getting 11.25 or 11.2. You would move the decimal over twice. So this is an option. What I will say though, is it's a newer one. I'll be honest with you guys, because I'm your internal. It is a newer interest grading strategy. It's been around for maybe 4 years. Last year was its first big year. It had like 11%. It pretty much got that 4.7% times 235% because we just increased this to 245. What I'll say to you guys, and what I like to do, is use this one. It illustrates lower, which I could care less about because illustrations are illustrations. We want this to actually hit, and it's been hitting its cap of 9.5 because you have 9.25 times 105 participation. It's at 9.5. It's hit that like the last 4 years straight. What I do for interest rates, and you guys are going to do whatever you want to do. I can't advise, but I can say what I would do. I would do probably something like, okay, maybe an 80-20 split for now, because I got trust issues. So I want to make sure Paysetter hits multiple years so I don't have clients wanting to kill us all. It could hit again this year. If it does, then awesome. I'm not even mad if I put myself in the cap focus because you're not going to get rich off 1 year. If you care about 1 year of interest grading strategies, you're in the wrong product. This is a long-term investment and product. It is not a get rich quick thing. It's none of that. So this is for lump sums over 5,000 for me personally. 3,600 is the rule. I say that's too low. Over 5 grand. And then also try to use more of that cap focus for now, if you could, just until you see if the Paysetter hits in their year. Just to be transparent with you guys. And then I feel like multipliers, I'll get to that question in a second when I run reports. Monique, what's your question?
Yeah, thank you again. I have a question about the income stream that come after 66 or 67. I don't know if I heard it correctly, but you said something about it's guarantee. So I just want to know, is it going to be there even though the market doesn't perform as expected? So what do you mean by guaranteed?
Guarantee once we get to that point. So great question. If this is us just going through the illustration. So we can't guarantee what's going to happen in these next 28 years, of course. It's definitely the market's going to bounce back. Market's already going like this. That's why they want to have an IULs for those years that it's a bad market. Zero's your hero, and then ride up those good gains. But once we get to this age, 65, and let's say they had 365,000 and their guaranteed lifetime income was 25,617, that is guaranteed. The only thing that makes it not guaranteed is if we recalculate every 5 years and we find that we can give you more money, we're going to give you more money, not less. So it's guaranteed to be no less than that once they get to that point. Because this number, it could end up being 50,000, it can end up being 15,000. Who knows? We live in a reality world. So great question, though.
All right, thank you.
And then I want to show you guys, anyone has questions, please go. Patricia, you just tell me when I got to stop talking. Yes, Amos.
You're muted, Amos.
I can ask to unmute you. Oh, I
Yes,
unmute
there
you.
you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sam, for the training, following closely here.
Sir.
So the number that after 66, after 65, just a quick one, how did you get to that number? Because I can see it's guaranteed, guaranteed
Yes,
distribution until, yeah.
correct. So we got their face amount in here. We're using a solve type because you can only use one solve type or you can use none, but only one of them. So we're using a solve type. We're increasing until the year we're about to take money out because you cannot have increasing on while taking money out. Then we have the monthly basis, the 500 till the age 65. Now, when we get to this distributions right after premium, and then there's of course 1035 exchange we can get into in a little bit, but distribution, if you turn on the lifetime income benefit, that is the guarantee amount and it'll automatically go from when we're turning it on. So after 65 at age 66, and it's automatically going to maturity. Two rules. Policy has to be enforced for at least 10 years to use this. Client has to be at least 60 years old to use this. And then if we go to quick view, policy year, age, we're just going to tick down until we get to that age, 66. Now, let's say the client has waited 28 years. The policy has played out exactly how we're showing. This is a guarantee amount once he gets to this age, and that's what they offer him. Guarantee amount rest of his life. However, every 5 years, we recalculate this cash value just in case it's been really amazing during those 5 years. And if it's shooting out more money than 25 grand a year, that's what their new benchmark is. Now they're getting 28,000 a year, 30,000 a year. And then we're still every 5 years going to recalculate to see if we can give them more, but we'll never go less. And also on top of that, face amount can never get less than 15,000, which it's not showing in this one, but no less than 15,000 can the face amount get to. So if they, they have good longevity and they live to 100 and they've liquidated absolutely everything and they're still getting their guaranteed lifetime income stream, their beneficiaries are still at least guaranteed that 15,000.
Thank you. Another question I have for you is,
yes, sir.
What is the right type of death benefit that you select for, someone whose, cost of insurance is actually getting high, and you want it to keep, you want to keep it level, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the right selection for a level death benefit. What's the age with the National Life?
You can do it any age. You could do it for a 14-day-old. You can do it for an older folk. Definitely the older they're getting, the more I don't want to look at increasing, just because it is going to keep increasing that cost of insurance, that death benefit. It's really, you just want to match up their goals. Whatever age, whatever person it is, you want to know what's the goals of this. Is it cash value strictly? Is it both cash value and death benefits? So like a balance of them too? Or is it strictly heavy on the face amount? Or are we just leaning one way, but not fully? Those are kind of the three areas that we look at. If they're looking strictly at cash value, this is the lowest face amount possible mixed with this increasing. These two together create the lowest face amount for the client. Don't get it confused though. If you push none and it gives you a face amount, like let's say you put in 200 grand and you do increasing, that is still 200 grand, but it is now on an increasing factor. So it depends. If a client came up to me and they're 45 and they're like, hey, right now, all I can kind of afford is a $200,000 face amount, but I want it to get higher because I know I'm going to get a better job in 5 years. We can do 200 grand, start it increasing, and it'll just kind of get a little bit higher and higher and higher. Or we could start it at level, and you can change this once a year when it's in force. So we could start at level, and maybe 5 years he gets that new job. We go into a contract change, just turn it into in-force. Email me, I'll do an in-force illustration for you. We'll switch it to increasing, see if it appeases him, and we keep going. So it's every time it's going to be different. For juveniles, technically I want to do minimum DB and increasing together because in my head, no parent should ever care about a death benefit for their children. They should be worrying about the cash value. That's what I think about. I think of the too many Netflix documentaries. Do more so cash value. So you always want to ask questions like that too. So great question, but it's going to depend. So run through a lot of illustrations and ask me a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Okay. And my last question, as Eddie comes in, last one, Eddie.
All right.
Yeah. So if the policy is already enforced, can I for my client, can I help them, find them the best allocation? Not depending on you, but because depending on what I've gotten on this training, just to make sure that their policies, is
Yeah.
going to their advantage.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let me put also to you guys meeting group chat. Let me put my email, SHOW. All right, I just sent you guys my email as well. And then I know Patricia wants to talk. I just want to say one more thing that's going to take 5 seconds. If you guys push run reports, page 2 is going to be your hero. So this page 1, here's page 2. It talks about what they are paying. So they're starting off with 500 monthly. If I die tomorrow, I got 200,000. So that is tomorrow. Cash value in the future. So it's showing this, I think it's 38 years old, showing some projections. But look at this, accelerate benefits at age 66. It is showing some conservative projections. So terminal illness, there are 66 at that time, 209,000. Chronic illness, it is per month up to 50 months. Every year they have to get reevaluated, but that is per month for up to 50 months, 50. And then critical illness, critical injury, Alzheimer's. These are what you always want to show your clients because I don't work on the claims team, you don't work on the claims team. These are rough projections. And then one final thing on the reports page, you can actually change the summary age. So if you're doing a 1-year-old illustration and the client's like, can I see what ABRs would look like if they were a teenager? I personally had a blood clot at 16 from a knee surgery, so that's not a crazy question to me. You can change this age. And if it doesn't let you how it is right now, just start a new illustration. We've done too many things in it and it won't let us change it. You just start a new illustration, copy the information over.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we are actually on time now, and I don't want to take much of your time. It's an hour and 15 minutes into this training, which was really, really valuable. Honestly, I just want, on behalf of the team, I want to just sincerely thank you for the engaging and educational training you provided to all of us
Appreciate you
today.
guys.
Absolutely. And your clear illustrations and insights were extremely valuable, especially as we continue diversifying our business and working with different companies. But we definitely look forward to learning more from you in the future and are excited about the opportunity to do business with National Life. So I'm going to, of course, liaise with you and then see when you can come back again and continue with this training that you offered for us today.
Absolutely. No, I'd love to get a couple more in before we have to meet together in May 22nd. So yeah, I'd like to get as much momentum as we can get going, because then you guys will be able to meet Rush and Maurice and Mike with me.
Oh,
And
wow.
any kind of questions you guys have, we all have different talents. I want to make sure you guys are most equipped. So this is the most meaningful convention you guys have ever had.
Yes, we are all looking forward to that. And honestly, guys, we have an email there that he posted in the chat. Please take advantage of that. Contact him if you have any questions before he comes back for the training. He's here to help us, okay? Understand and actually do better illustrations and take care of our clients correctly as we're supposed to. So I just want to say thank you so very much for everything, and also thank you to all the champions that are present on here, that logged onto this meeting, which was very, very important and valuable to all of us.
I appreciate it. And please, guys, my only 2 homework assignments to you is that form. It's not showing you anymore, but that form, Flex Life consumer brochure. Please review that. Let me know any questions on any pages. Second thing, do illustrations. Do one on a juvenile. Do one on someone in their 20s, someone in their 40s, someone in their 60s. Do 4 different illustrations on different scenarios. Let me know what kind of questions you guys have. That's where you're going to run into more questions than anything, is when you're clicking things, you're like, what in the heck is this? That's where I'm going to be more than happy to hop on the phone with you and be like, perfect. So any questions, guys, please generate as many as possible.
Yeah, one quick question. I think this is vital. Dr. Mputu was asking for contracting issues. Can you help?
Contracting issues, email me. and I have a guy named Jack Bates. I've been working a lot with Xperia and the contracting team going back and forth. So email me and I can get it over to contracting. I like to use my guy Jack Bates. He's very on top of things. And yeah, I'll just be like kind of a middleman for you guys. Be like, okay, this happened. I'll even CC you on the email when I send it off to them. So yeah, send me an email and I'll get that over to the contracting team.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Sam. And at this time, I said we're gonna call it a day. Thank
I
you
have a
so very
question.
much. Okay, well, you can make it quick because we are really over the time. We're trying to respect his time. You go ahead, Juliet.
Okay, like if you have already contracted with you guys from another company, do you still have to contract here also, or you can transfer from the other
Cor-
company?
Oh, correct. Yes, we would have to get a transfer. Have you written business with NLG in the last 6 months or this year
No,
at all?
I just contracted, but I have not written any business yet.
Perfect. Send me an email as well, and I'm gonna get you a transfer form, and we'll get you transferred over.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Anything you guys need, just let me know.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam.
Of course.
Yeah, please email him. Get that email that he posted in the chat. And another thing is that this video has been recorded, okay, and it's gonna be posted on WorkVivo for everybody to go back there and listen and learn more and practice on your own. I think this is gonna be really awesome. And also let the other agents that were not able to attend this meeting that that the training was recorded and they can access it as well. Thank you so very
Perfect.
much, and everybody have a great and blessed day. Thank you, Sam.
Have a good one, guys. Appreciate you.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Bye
Thank
for
you,
now.
everybody.
Mhm.